Hey there, YouTube. I'm going to talk today. This one's for the firearms instructor guys, especially the law enforcement guys that need to get people to qualify. That's what I want to talk about, talk to those people. I could talk about how one of my SROs let go today, but I'm still a little bit salty about it. I put out a video, last week saying, these red dots should just basically work forever, and then, I've had such a good track record. And of course, one of mine shits the bed the next week, of course. But no, that's not what I'm going to talk about. Let's talk about getting guys to pass the qual if they're not very good, not physically talented, or maybe they're stupid, whatever the problem is. There are certain people that they struggle with shooting. And, that's okay. Everybody struggles with stuff. So how do we get those people to pass? Now, this is an interesting question. I was asked by an instructor cadre last week, and I didn't have the best off-the-cuff answers. Okay, but this is a better answer on what to do with your kind of your weaker people. So the first thing is, this is not really something that I do a lot. I do performance shooting, or I shoot with guys that have made it through a selection process. They've made it through a training process. They're not foundationally fucked up. If you're failing the qual at work, obviously, it doesn't work like this in all places, but in a lot of places, you're on the bubble for even getting to continue to work there if you're failing the qual. So it's a big problem. And getting guys to pass the qual so you don't, so you qualify them to work, that is an objective of a lot of people. Okay, so let's give an example. I want to give an example, the type of exercise that we're talking about here, or the type of shooting we're talking about, just to get everybody on the same page, because all these quals are different. So let's say a 15-yard bill drill is a good example. So that'd be from the holster, draw 6 rounds into a USPSA target at 15 yards. For a law enforcement qualification context, probably it would be A zone or C zone hits. Those would be count the same, yep, those are good hits. Those are basically where we want them. It would mean that sort of thing is what you would do in a qual, that sort of accuracy standard. Also, instead of a competitive shooter could do this in under 2.5 seconds for sure. That type of speed and that type of shooting would be easily done in under 2.5 seconds. In a qualification setting, I think you'd see time limits more like 10 seconds for that type of thing, right? So again, 6 rounds, you start, get the gun out kind of slow. Okay, point it at the thing. Boom, 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 boom. About 10 seconds. You know what I mean? That type of pacing. And what the objective is to get people just to hit that, good enough to pass the qual. This is different than what I normally do, because I don't work with this type of case, this type of person. That just maybe in open enrollment civilian classes sometimes, but typically this is not the type of people I see. So what should we do in the case that somebody's really struggling? So commonly the normal thing that people want to do is they want to take away the time limit or increase the time limit so people can be boom. All right, then it'll be all right, pull the trigger really carefully. Boom, gun goes off. We just give them more time and get them to shoot in the center of the target. Then give them more reps, do remedial work. And this is where it gets kind of fuzzy, right? The normal path that people do is we give the shooter more time and then hope that they kind of figured out. You give them some technique stuff to maybe help them when they're shooting. So this is where you'll see prep and press is a thing, flip and press, ride the reset. Those type of trigger control techniques tend to come into play at about this type of scenario. Why? Because they work just fine slow. Anything works if you're doing it slow, and it gets people to pay attention to what they're doing with the trigger control. And then, again, hopefully through giving the person some reps, you're hoping that they can then shoot effectively. Now, that's one path, and that works sometimes for a lot of people. There's other issues I'd have. I would say, hey, give them a trigger technique. I would say rolling break, roll through the trigger. Don't prep press, but just try to roll through, nice clean break. As you improve, do that faster, yada, yada. I would want to push people that direction because that will work if you're doing it in the 2.5 second pace. I know that will work. Other stuff, not going to work as good. However, that's sort of irrelevant. If this person's struggling with the qual, they're probably not going to be an astronaut type shooter like in the future. That's probably not going to happen. You're just trying to get them to pass the qual. So again, you'll use some trigger techniques, give them some stuff to pay attention to, and you hope that they get more accurate, and then you put the time limit back on, and you kind of hope it works out. That's one way to do it, and I think that's probably the most common way. One thing that I would push you to do if you want to, improve these people, take away the accountability in terms of the hits and have the person shoot the exercise as fast as they can do it safely. So for example, get the gun out, get a grip on it, aim at the target, boom, 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 boom. Like, if the rounds go into a cone around the target, I would still consider that useful. And what you do is you have people shoot way faster than they're comfortable, faster than real life speed, faster than you'd ask them to do, just to get them acclimated. What does the speed feel like? Okay. Like then as I'm shooting you give them some reps, then they're like, okay, like, I'm starting to see the sight come down, or I just see the sight bouncing around or whatever. Just let them experience the shooting really fast and don't make them accountable for the hits. Just let them do it. Let them experience it. And this is where a lot of the firearms trainer guys, like, they don't like this kind of thing. They like the stuff I'm talking about now where I'm okay with I'm sort of okay with someone missing the target in order to learn how to hit it faster, in order to learn something from it or whatever. A lot of people don't like that. They really don't. They may not even know why they dislike it so much. And then if the conversation is like, hey, we're training guys to miss or this and this, I'd be like, no. People understand what they're doing here. This is, hey, we're taking away the accountability. This isn't how you want to shoot for real. Just, I want you to experience doing this faster. I think people learn a lot from that. They take a lot away in terms of just the feel of it. They're like, oh, I can control the gun shooting this fast. If they get to shoot some reps, they'll even perceive the sight for every time they pull the trigger. And it's not doing what they want probably, but they're like, oh, I can draw and shoot that fast and at least see the sight. That's not the end state that you want to get to, but that's not nothing either, right? And the idea is when you let them, like, let's say you have them do a bunch of 4-second strings, drawing and shooting 6 rounds at a 15-yard target. Then just say, dude, all right, now just try to hit it and we'll put the 10-second time limit back on. That's going to feel like an eternity for that person. And it's going to change their perception of what they're doing. And now instead of, oh, wow, 10 seconds, it's like, that's a little bit tight. Now they'll see that as, oh, I've got plenty of time. I'm going to see the sight return. I can apply some technique to the trigger, pull it super straight, all that stuff. So anyway, that's generally the strategy that I would push people toward, right? Instead of, hey, slow it down, lots of accountability, every rep has to be perfect, that type of thinking, I'd say go faster. Make it unrealistically fast. Take away the accountability in terms of the hits. Let people explore what that feels like. I mean, supervise it properly, of course, and then rein it back in and then have them shoot with accountability. And I think that's going to end up being an effective training strategy as well. So anyway, something to think about, something to pay attention to. If you guys have any questions, comments, put them down below.